Hi, and welcome to the premiere episode of Global Heart Leaders YouTube channel. My name is Charlotte, and I'm the founder and CEO of Global Heart Leaders. And on this platform, I will talk about leadership. Leadership in this fast moving and sometimes a bit unpredictable and scary world that we live in today. The level of unpredictability has never been this intense. I remember when I started off my CEO career, we talked about the 5 year plans, and they were pretty consistent. There was a level of certainty what was happening around us. Now, from one day to the next, we can have a catastrophe, we can have new legislation being passed, or we can even have geopolitical tensions, or we just witnessed a pandemic. I mean, there's so many curveballs that are constantly thrown at us. And the level of uncertainty also to what speed AI will accelerate just creates a lot of tension and anxiety. And in times like this, the leadership has to be firm yet compassionate because nothing can grow from a state of fear. And there's so many heads of state and some big company leaders that has really benefited from that, from running out of their operations or countries through fear because people stay in their lane and they don't really question status quo, right? So as a leader, it's very comfortable because nothing is really challenging you. But I think it's time to start challenging the leaders and pave way for more compassionate, human centric leadership, especially in these days when all we do is talk about AI. But what about us, the people around it? I mean, we are still in charge. And how can we use AI that benefits society to make us as individuals flourish, to handle the climate crisis or whatnot? I truly believe that the biggest challenges of our time will be solved through a combination of tech and brilliant minds. And that has also to reflect in the leadership of the leaders lifting up the humans to really tackle that challenge head on. That is why I ended my 14-year CEO career to start my own company. So in this platform, I will come back to this over again, the need for human-centric leadership. So who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, I started my career, like I mentioned, in 2010 in the CEO position. I was the CEO of a TV station owned by a Swedish listed international media house. But it wasn't in Sweden. They shipped me off to Ghana, West Africa. So being 31, my first ever CEO experience, being in a market and a country that was so fundamentally different from the one I used to grow up in. I mean, that really challenged your leadership skills. I remember coming with a really Swedish mindset of consensus and talking, while the market there and my colleagues were expecting a much more firm, telling you what to do kind of leadership style. So I had to shift, but then naturally I, introduced more of the consensus dialogue and coaching leadership style, if you may. And well, it was successful. 3 years down the line, we hit break even and we got some awards for some really kick-ass shows that we made. But then going back to Sweden, I became CEO of a professional ice hockey team. And we're talking the team, sports stadium, I mean, the whole enchilada. And that was also, a new situation to be in, because then your leadership style or my leadership style also had to like stand media and external scrutiny, right? Because we were of public interest. So not only I came in as a woman in a very male-dominated industry, but also that the operations are so diverse. I mean, you have the sports stadium with the facility management, then you have the ticket sales and the marketing. Yeah, but then you also have food and beverage. I mean, we had multiple restaurants. And then you need to handle the media and then obviously have a solid sports organization that can, make win and make way on the ice and then you need to the whole fan engagement, and so it was so diverse, and it was just fantastic to work with. But the challenges were huge, obviously, because then as a leader, I had to be more of the enabler, and I needed to like build trust in my management team. Why? Because I don't know how to run restaurants. I've never done any facility management. So I needed to find people in my management team that I could trust and work from there, which is also a big piece to creating success. Uh, 18 months ago ish, I went to Silicon Valley to meet with some of the big corporations there. And they use the word trust so many times because, as if you're a Google or the Amazon or of the world, if you're going to be leading in AI, you need trusting environments because there's going to be a lot of errors and a lot of setbacks on your journey to taking lead on AI. But if people are too scared to iterate and experiment, then that will not happen. And it's just so nice because when I started my company, I really, I know I was a bit provocative when I had global heart leaders. And since I started my career in corporate finance and later also ventured into corporate governance, I mean, that's hardcore, that's serious. And what, Charlotte, you have heart in your company name? Yeah, because like a very wise man once said, John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, I listened to him in London last week. He said, we need to bring love out of the corporate closet. And it couldn't been, further from the truth. I mean, it's exactly what we need to do. It is actually possible to be passionate and human centric and make money at the same time. It doesn't mean that we are a bunch of tree hugging, kumbaya people walking around in yoga pants. No. What we do is that we understand human psychology. We can see people. We know that every person needs to be seen, loved, respected, and feel a sense of belonging. They need to belong to a tribe, a company, a community, a family. And when those things are not aligned, that's when you get frustrated. For instance, your boss taking credit for your work over and over. It just kills your motivation. I mean, this is not rocket science, but still, so many bosses do that. I call them bosses because they're obviously not leaders. So I just thought, okay, let's just dedicate my time to raise the awareness that you can't be a human centric CEO and leader and make money and grow and innovate at the same time. So these things and more are topics that I'm going to talk about on this platform. I can just mention a few things coming in the coming weeks is that this whole management by fear, why it is a very bad idea in 2025. We can also talk about creating those compassionate, resilient leaders. What takes and how can you step in to that environment? Another interesting thing that I really, really love and want to highlight is this old way of thinking that life is a zero-sum game, which means that, this is the cookie. So if you take the cookie, I don't get anything. What's good for her or him is ultimately not beneficial to me. And that's why we fight and that's why we don't share. I'm more of I have the mindset of abundance. Great, I gave you the cookie, and you can bake me a cookie. Give it back. Maybe we can start a cookie factory and produce millions of cookies and make money. So it's all about that abundance. And the first step, a little hack I can give you in this maiden episode, is that start being generous with your time and your connections in your environment, because things are moving so fast now. It's gone are the days when you took employment in one company, 50 years later you resigned and got a golden watch. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. There could be geopolitical tensions, there could be natural disasters, there could be regulatory issues that all of a sudden takes you out of business. And if you have not nurtured your network, if you have not walked that extra mile for the people you love and care about, don't expect them to do the same for you. So one little proverb that I learned in Ghana was that givers never lack, and that is the hack that I'm giving you. So I hope you keep watching this space, because in the coming weeks we will dive deeper into some of these topics and more. So see you.